Avengers versus The Dark Knight Rises. It's an epic battle worthy of its very own blockbuster movie, as we wait to see which film will emerge from the summer 2012 box office season triumphant. Because while everyone in the audience may win, the box office only has one winner. But believe it or not, these aren't the only two major movies Hollywood has to offer this summer. And in fact, there's some very healthy competition. Let's take a look. This summer, you get to open one of your biggest presents first, as The Avengers kicks off the season on May 4th. It has the whole weekend to itself, and some could argue the whole summer. The first weekend in May is perhaps the prime slot, and as Hollywood has learned recently, being fashionably late to the party isn't trendy anymore. Just look at last year's season-end flops. And The Avengers will not only set the tone for the whole season, but be the pace bunny as well. Although I don't think Dark Shadows will have any trouble keeping up. Coming out the very next weekend, May 11th, is the Johnny Depp-Tim Burton Passion Project, a campy 1970s supernatural horror film based on the old television soap opera. And while we might be used to seeing Depp dimple deep in face paint and standing next to Helena Bonham Carter at this point, co-stars like Michelle Pfeiffer, Jackie Earle Haley, and Chloe Moretz should keep things fresh. Another costume comedian competing for your attention that same weekend will be Sacha Baron Cohen with his latest pick, The Dictator, while Lionsgate works the counter-programming angle with what to expect when you're expecting. Sure, everyone needs to read the book, but do they need to see the movie? We'll have to see if Cameron Diaz, Jennifer Lopez, and Anna Kendrick give birth to a bridesmaid-style success, which was also released in mid-May. Then, the next weekend, May 18th, Battleship hopes to get into theaters while audiences are still optimistic, which might be a very short window, as the next weekend, May 25th, Men in Black 3 comes out. You know, that movie with no script, which is most famous for Will Smith's Titanic-sized trailer. Can his insane star power keep this poorly constructed behemoth from sinking too? Now, June is all about doubling down, for better or worse. For instance, on June 1st, you can catch Charlize Theron as the evil queen in Snow White and the Huntsman, while the very next weekend, June 8th, you can also catch her in Ridley Scott's alien-esque Prometheus. Now, Snow White and the Huntsman is shaping up to be a box office juggernaut, so audiences will either be psyched to see her hunt down aliens a la Snow White, or they'll just see Snow White again. Also on June 1st, Hairspray's Adam Shankman brings another Broadway musical to the silver screen, this time The Rock of Ages. Get ready to see Tom Cruise and Alec Baldwin as you've never seen them before, and Russell Brand exactly as you've seen him before. Then on June 8th, in addition to more Charlize, you can also enjoy more Madagascar, as the franchise becomes a trilogy. Computer-animated movies have had a rough time in 2011, so Madagascar 3 will be the canary in the summer movie season mineshaft, if you will. And on June 15th, get ready for the fourth silver screen fairy tale of the year, Jack the Giant Killer. Oddly, Warner Brothers has yet to release a trailer or set pics for this film, and it's from the Usual Suspects team of Bryan Singer and Christopher McQuarrie. Expect this film to possibly move its release date or die on the spot. There's also more doubling down that weekend as Adam Sandler finally teams up with the guy who inherited his SNL mantle, Andy Samberg, for Donnie's Boy. Sandler plays Samberg's father who doesn't get along with his son's fiancée, played by Leighton Meester. It'll be nice to see these two comedians finally go up against an actress who can hold her own. Sorry, Isla Fisher, but nobody saw Hot Rod. Then on June 22nd, things get bloody with Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter and Brave. Both movies are a long shot as Pixar introduces its first female protagonist in a story that seems pretty unoriginal, and the other reimagines an assassinated president as a guy who wields an axe and kills vampires. Could be in bad taste, could be awesome. And the month closes out on June 29th with double the Channing Tatum, as he stars in both G.I. Joe Retaliation and Magic Mike. My money's on the male stripper movie, which realizes it's a joke. If the first weekend in May is the most coveted release date of the summer, then the second most coveted is 4th of July weekend. And in 2012, it's all Sony's, as they release The Amazing Spider-Man on Independence Day itself. Expect a few other movies to jump on that release date, as it seems odd to give an entire holiday weekend to a movie that has little to no buzz. If only Spidey could swing with his fellow Avengers. Damn studio contracts. But things get a little more interesting on July 13th when Seth MacFarlane releases his first feature film. Mark Wahlberg plays a man who wishes his teddy bear to life, and that teddy bear is voiced by MacFarlane. Comedic gold meet box office gold. And that same weekend, Age Continental Drift also hits theaters, the fourth entry in a franchise that's a gold mine. Then on July 20th, we get the gold standard of everything Hollywood has to offer. Blockbusters, comic book movies, masterful storytelling, and film as a commercial art form. Or at least that's what The Dark Knight Rises is supposed to be. Everyone is waiting to see if Christopher Nolan can top his second act, especially sans Heath Ledger's brilliant performance. And after the Green Lantern debacle, Warner Brothers needs a superhero home run here. On July 29th, we get our first mainstream comedy of the season, Neighborhood Watch, presumably because every mainstream comedian is in this movie. Vince Vaughn, Ben Stiller, and Jonah Hill star, Lonely Island's Akiva Schaffer directs, and Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg, and Justin Theroux write. Is everyone working together for the greater good or the greater paycheck? We'll have to wait and see. But another movie will punch the clock that weekend, and it's Step Up 4. Apparently, this franchise has moves like Jagger. Time can't stop it. The first weekend in August is also a prime spot, often the summer's last hurrah. It worked wonders for Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and in 2012, both the Bourne Legacy and the Total Recall remake hope to also cash in. It will indeed be interesting to see if Jeremy Renner can fill Matt Damon's shoes and Colin Farrell Arnold Schwarzenegger's. Diary of a Wimpy Kid 3 will also hit theaters, a formality that will put it a step ahead of all the direct-to-video movies it'll later compete with in the DVD market, where this franchise makes its real money. Then on August 10th, the other half of Hollywood's top comedians offer up their answer to Neighborhood Watch. Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis co-star in a political comedy that will either be called Rivals or Dogfight, but will definitely be directed by Jay Roach. Let's hope this movie is more Meet the Parents and less Meet the Fockers. But if you've been burned by Ferrell and Galifianakis before, as many of us have, that same weekend you can also check out Warm Bodies. What's Warm Bodies? Well, get ready because it's Twilight with zombies. Hey, you can't really blame Summit Entertainment for trying. And get ready for more supernatural fun on August 17th when the team behind Coraline releases Paranorman. There are also some otherworldly shenanigans going on in The Odd Life of Timothy Green, but in a much more heartfelt Disney-esque manner. But both of these movies can prepare to be blown away by The Expendables 2, this time featuring every 80s action star who thought the first one was a dumb idea but was proven wrong. Then on August 24th, we get our usual end-of-the-summer horror clearance sale, starting with both The Apparition and Sinister. The first is about a college experiment gone wrong and stars everyone's favorite supporting characters, Bucky, Draco, and Alice Cullen. Meanwhile, Sinister is a more adult horror film, starring Ethan Hawke as a man trying to find out the brutal history of his new home. But if horror isn't your thing, that weekend also sees the release of Premium Rush, a bike messenger thriller starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Although the film was supposed to come out a full 8 months ago in January. What's the holdup? Some might say it needs more work in post, while others might say it's that copyright infringement lawsuit. Finally, August closes out with 2 more scary movies that could be sleeper hits. There's 7500, where True Blood's Ryan Quanten encounters some supernatural turbulence from the Japanese master of horror behind The Grudge. The other is The Possession, where Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Kyra Sedgwick's daughter makes a nasty purchase at a yard sale, brought to you by Denmark's master of horror and produced by none other than Sam Raimi. So, are you more excited for The Avengers or The Dark Knight Rises? And what other movies are you planning to put on your dance card? Be sure to share your thoughts down below. I'm Grace Randolph, and this has been a Movie Bite. You can watch more right now.